Hello, it's me, and I had a request to go over the solve strategy of this container cube. So I figured, sure, why not? It's a cute little puzzle. Anyway, so container cube, this is actually a skewb. A skewb is best demonstrated by this, if you hadn't figured that out. Basically, it's a deep cut corner turning cube. So deep cut meaning it's kind of like a diner, except that it actually has corners. And when you turn it, you sort of drag these corners with it. So it's a deep cut, and it really only has two types of pieces. It's got a center and it's got corners. So 6 centers and 8 corners total. And there's only one type of move that you're going to do, which is a down, down, up, up. So it would help if you know how to solve a skewb, but maybe it's not completely necessary as long as you can kind of correlate these pieces together. So basically, if I were to correlate this is going to be a center like this, and it's going to be surrounded by corners. So these are all corners. Think of them as corners of skewb. So center with corners. This is also a center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these slices here, the squares are centers, and these two colored versions are also centers. And all these triangular pieces, these monochromatic triangular pieces, are corners. Whoops, just like this. And the way it moves is, it moves down here. It doesn't have the same clicky mechanism, but this move is equivalent to this move, where the corner is in the center of the move. So this corner is in the center. And it really scrambles the same way. So one way that you can do is, if you know how to solve a skewb, think of it that way and try it yourself. But it's not just a skewb, it's a super skewb, because these centers have a specific orientation while these centers don't. So that's going to enter into the solve. So why don't we try to solve this without getting into how to solve the skewb, but I welcome you to learn how to do that first. So basically, the other thing that you have to bear in mind in terms of the structure is, as with all puzzles, there's a certain pattern of your colors. And if you start off with red in front of you, if you were to go clockwise, you get red, white, and blue. And that's sort of a standard motif. Like if you look at this here, red, white, and blue. And also, opposite red is going to be orange, opposite white is going to be yellow, and opposite green is going to be blue. So red, white, and blue. So just remember that, because you can see how if you exchange these pieces, you might not be able to solve it. So red, white, and blue. So we'll go ahead and scramble it and see where things can end up. Alright, so scramble, scramble, scramble. Alright, and it doesn't take much before it turns into this really bizarre looking creation of modern art. So, whoa, can barely even hold it. So, here's how I would start when you have this catastrophically scrambled puzzle. I'm not used to skewb that doesn't have the clicking mechanism, so I find that kind of interesting. Anyway, what I would do is start off with the center. And like with any skewb solve, I'm going to start off with the center, let's say the white one, and I'm going to put in the corners all around. So if this is white, I'm going to put red over here, red, white, so the blue corner has to go here. It's not going to be hard to find. Just keep moving until you see it. Now you can see this blue is correct, but it's not oriented right. So the way to make it oriented right is you basically move it down. Okay, so you move it down by one click, so to speak. Then rotate it like this. Move it back up. If it's not there yet, bring it down, rotate it, bring it back up. So you can see now this is fine. So red, white, and blue. Now stop. Before moving on, you have to make sure that this is in the right place. So we need to make sure that the center that fits between here is red and blue, is the red and blue edge. Obviously it's not this. It's this guy over here. So I'm going to move this up, and as you can see, if I move this down, it fits just fine. So I know that this is going to be the right configuration. Now it might not have been that way. Maybe what you did, let me show you an alternative, a possible problem that might have occurred. Let's say I put this red one in, and decided to move this blue here. Okay, so I'm moving it in the way that I showed. Okay, so why can't this be correct? Well, if I try to find the red and blue centerpiece that fits here, it's over here. If I move this down, you can see it's at a right angle. It's not going to fit. So if I go down, down, up, up, that gets that back, but this does not fit. If you see this is not where it should be. move move the red here or here. It doesn't matter which one, but you know it's not supposed to be here. So I just wanted to point that part out. So let's go ahead and get a blue one back here. So I'm really just doing my positioning, not right here, so to move it down, bring it across, move it up. Okay, so I know that this is correct. Opposite red is going to be orange, so let's look for an orange. I can move this up here, and this is already in. Okay, and opposite blue is going to be green. So I'm looking for a green, here's a green here. This doesn't quite fit, so we're going to want to spin it around. The way that we're going to do this is move it down by one click. Okay, we rotate this green and then move it up. Not in yet. Well, then move this back. So now we move it again, down, rotate it. It knocked this red out temporarily, move it up. So now it's in, and we move this back. So this is all solved over here. So this is all fine. What we're going to do next is all these corners are in, we have to move these centers in. And here's how that's going to work. Turn this upside down so that this center's on top, this is over here. And I want to move this center where it's supposed to be in between the proper corners. So this is green and orange, I'm going to move it here. The way that that's going to work is I'm going to have a center in front of me, and this center is going to be moved down by moving it in this direction, down, and then down, up, and whoops. And that moves this in here. So when you do the down, down, up, up, so that you're not getting too confused, make sure any center is in front of you. Now that this is here, I turn it backwards. I go 180 degrees, and I want to put this one in next. I want to put the blue and red one in. That's over here. What I need to do to move it to here is, because I have to go from the top to go down, down, up, up, is I'm going to take this and I have to move it to the top. When I do that, this will flip over to here. Don't worry about that, as long as they're within 180 degrees of where they need to be. So you put this in. I want to put this one in. It's on this side. Maybe it's up here in your particular case, but just in case it's here, move it up. The way that we're going to do that to flip these two, we'll just go down, down, up, up. Okay, so this is up here. Now notice what was here was moved to here. Don't worry about that. So now we're going to take this and exchange it with this center by moving it in. I don't want to move it like this with the first down, because this doesn't fit. I'm going to move it like this. So we're basically moving this center into this center spot. Down, down, up, up. Okay, now we got to move this guy back in, so go behind it. So this is going to move down to here. It will not affect what's over here. Anytime I do a down, down, up, up, by the way, it's going to flip these two centers. This center will end up here, this center will end up here. Once you have a perspective on where your centers are, it becomes much more simple. So we're going to do down, down, up, up. Okay, so what that has done is I put this center in and this center in. So across from each other. The reason why I did that is because now when I work on these centers, these guys will flip back and forth, but they're still going to be within a move away from being placed in. So I'm going to take a look at this. This guy, the red and green, belongs here. So I'm going to put this in by going down, down, up, up. This is in. These guys were swapped, but don't worry about that, because when I do another move like that, it'll swap them back. Now that this is here, let's turn this 180 degrees, so this blue and orange will go down to here, and that'll swap these guys back. So it's going to be down, down, up, up. Okay, so this is in, but as you take a look around, you think, oh no, all these are in, but this is flipped, and this is flipped. No worries. Don't worry about that. Should you see that situation, all you've got to do is hold it here. If you do down, down, up, up twice, flip these two, and then flip them back, this will be rotated correctly. You're going to find that these will be rotated wrong, but it'll be corrected when you do the same thing with this side. So holding it here, flip it up here and flip it back, then it'll be incorrect. It'll be put in correctly. So we go down, down, up, up, and now we flip it down again here, down, down, up, up. So now this is in. You see these two are flipped, but that doesn't matter because as long as this is flipped, by flipping this up and down, these guys will flip back. So down, down, up, up, and again, down, down, up, up. And in that way, you'll get all of these centers in. So now all we have to do are these corners. Now, they're always going to be where they need to be. The colors are always going to be right. It's just the parity of the puzzle. There's no way it's going to be anything else. It could be in this configuration, or it could be where you have two that are in and two that are out, but more than likely it's going to be like this. What you're going to want to do is you're going to ask yourself, how do I have to flip this so that it's facing flush like this one? Do I have to rotate this piece clockwise or counterclockwise? The way to tell is find out which of these pieces have to be facing down. And I can tell that if I take this and temporarily just move it to this side, you can see this is still out. If I line it up on this side here, you can see that it's going to be flat. So this piece, this point, has to be facing down. So let's move this back here. For this to be facing down, that's going to be a clockwise rotation. So now what other of these pieces have to be a clockwise rotation to move it down? Well, take a look at this. If I move this in here, no, that doesn't line up there. If I put this in, this piece will be facing down. So to make this piece face down, that's counterclockwise rotation. So I want to organize it to where both pieces have to rotate the same way from the front and to the right. So this has to rotate clockwise. This has to rotate counterclockwise. So I want to find another one that can rotate clockwise. It's probably going to be this. So if I line this up here, you can see this lines up. This point has to be facing down, so that's clockwise. So this has to rotate clockwise, and this has to rotate clockwise. Now why is that important? That's important because find the two that have to rotate the same direction. By the way, this is counter, this is counter. You could do these two, but let's do this. So what you want to do to rotate all of these in, clockwise and clockwise, if I do a down, down, up, up, if I were to hold it over here, one to the left actually and one to the right. So I've got this center and this center. This has to rotate clockwise. This has to rotate clockwise. And so center, center, left, right, both have to rotate in the same direction. When I do down, down, up, up, I can start off with this move, which is a clockwise move, down like that. Or I can start off with this, which is counterclockwise. When I have the two that have to rotate clockwise, start your down, down, up, up in the same direction. In this case, it's clockwise. Do that 4 times and something magical will happen. So let's go ahead and do, starting with a clockwise rotation, because these both have to rotate clockwise. Down, that's clockwise. And we're going to do it 4 times. So down, down, up, up. That's 1. So now 2, 2, 2, 2. Now the third time, 3, 3, 3, 3. And once more, 4, 4, 4, 4, and it's fine, and you've solved your container cube rather. So that's kind of a quick run through. I don't want to do too much hand holding with it so that it won't take away from the challenge, but that's the basic scenario. Now there's another scenario that you might end up with this. What if I end up with this scenario where I have 2 that are in and 2 that are out? So what do I do about this case? Because when I do my down, down, up, up, all 4 are going to be moved. I don't have a way of just moving 2. When you get a situation like this, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you rotate these so that they're all out. You can't have 2 out and 2 in. So what has to rotate? Where does this have to rotate to be in? If I move this here, you can see this point will be down. Move that point down, that's going to be rotating counterclockwise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this here, and if I rotate this counterclockwise, this will be in, and then this will be out. That's not what I want. So I'm going to do it the opposite. I'm going to rotate it clockwise, because if I do that, this won't be in, nor will this be in, and these 2 will also be out. So if you get a situation like this, figure out which direction this has to turn, and then just do the opposite. If you do the opposite, all 4 are going to be out. So let's do it 4 times, starting with clockwise. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. And if you do that, you're going to find that they're all out, and now you can do the same thing. So looking at where this red goes, nope, that's not going to do it. So if I rotate it like this, that'll tell me this is pointing down. So this is a clockwise turn. How about this over here? Nope, this will be a counterclockwise turn, so it's going to be these two guys over here. Because this is clockwise, now we do a clockwise, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, that's 2, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, that's 4, and it's done. So there you have it. I hope that was fairly clear. Just bear in mind where your centers are. First thing you want to do is get your first center and just get all of these around by moving it. Remember, this stays stationary and all the corners are going to be moving into it. If you have to rotate it, then you can go down, turn it down, rotate it, and bring it back up if need be. If there's any further questions or if you have a certain configuration you'd like me to answer for you, let me know. Otherwise, pretty fun puzzle. I do recommend it. It's nice and portable, very playable, and very smooth. Thanks for watching.